This is the Rush Discush, where the discuss is Rush. Welcome to the next episode of the Rush Discush.
Yes, full transparency. I'm pretty tired today. We had a crazy day with the boys. Well, I did. Adam was bringing home the bacon, and I was cooking it and going through a lot with the boys today. We are going to try our best tonight. I am excited to discuss these two songs. And something I wanted to bring up just before we get started is that I thought would be just kind of cool to throw in is we sometimes go into episodes with, for sure, I know my choice. This is what we're going to do. This is the one that I want. And then other nights we have times where we're like, you know what? I don't have a choice yet. I'm going to see where this discussion lands, and I'm going to make a decision later. And so just if you're ever wondering of like how that works for us, like it just really depends on the episode. Tonight for me, I have not made a decision. Usually I feel very strongly one way or the other. Tonight I am open to both sides because I do enjoy both of these tracks quite a bit. What are we discussing tonight?
So we're discussing Digital Man from the album Signals and yet another song from Vapor Trails, Vapor Trail.
Yes, not Vapor Trails. Adam corrected me. Obviously I know it's Vapor Trail, but I said it wrong. And I was like, oh, how embarrassing.
Yeah, that is, if you know Ryan Murphy from Rush fans, that is something that he will hop on you about if you ever say Vapor Trails and you're talking about the song.
Shout out to Ryan. He just went to some awesome Rush concerts at Madison Square Garden in New York. What a lucky guy.
Yeah, that concert is so good.
Yeah.
And to be able to see it in a venue like that, I mean, that's...
Well, yeah, Adam came up to me and told me that, oh, by the way, they did the Garden at the Garden. And I was like, oh, because they were supposed to do the Garden at the second Rush concert we went to in July, on the 13th of July in Fort Worth at Dickies Arena. They were supposed to do the Garden that night, which was one of the reasons that we went again, not the reason. And then they didn't do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, gutted. And so then to find that they got to do the Garden at the Garden, I was like, oh, right in the heart. But that's all right. They got to enjoy that in New York.
Yeah. Well, we got both concerts, which we didn't think we'd ever get. So
yeah, no complaints.
Like, no complaints for sure.
But yeah, Digital Man and Vapor Trail. They did Digital Man at the first concert.
New World.
No, they did New World Man. I'm sorry. That's right. They did not do Digital Man. That's right, because they did nothing from. Oh wait, no. Sorry. Ignore me. I'm very tired. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So Digital Man is. And there's a thing that online a lot of people talk about how Digital Man is like, you can think of it as the analog kid all grown up. They like to make a connection and kind of make a story about it. I don't believe that's ever been actually said.
So it's just headcanon for more fans.
Headcanon, but I do. It does fit pretty well though, because the idea of analog kid, the eyes wide open, heart undefended, the view of like, I've got to make my mark in the world, but I don't know what I'm going to do when I leave my safety net, and just being very present in the moment. And then you grow up and you're stuck in the digital world and you feel like nothing you do super matters. You feel like you're stuck for a different reason. So like the analog kid felt stuck because of fear of the unknown, and the Digital Man feels stuck because, I mean, to a certain extent, fear of the unknown, but just also not believing that he can go and enjoy the life that he really wants.
Yeah. Should we start with listening to the first bit of Digital Man then, as we kick off this next pairing?
Yeah. So here's Digital Man. There's some epicness going on there. You've got
epicness for sure.
That epic drum intro. You got Geddy just going crazy on the bass. And what I think is interesting is for how much people dropped off listening to Rush after Moving Pictures when Signals came out, and it's too synthy. I feel like people just listened to the intro of Subdivisions and then gave up on the album.
I'm like, well, if you only get through Subdivisions, because that intro is
there's
very
no synth
awesome.
in that intro.
No, it's literally Geddy. But also, I know you're going to bring up more about the bass in this song. So I don't know if you wanted to start with that, or my comment will segue into that. But what stuck out to me this time, which obviously I've heard this song a million times, but I think it's really cool that usually in not every single Rush song, but most Rush songs, you kind of hear the riff that Alex has chosen for the song, the guitar riff. Like that's the sound that not always, but that's the sound that we're going to go with. That's the riff that's going to be used throughout the song. What's cool about this intro in Digital Man is that the guitar is, we've talked about this before, more of a texture in a background, and the bass is the star of the show, like you were just saying, like Geddy's going crazy at the beginning here. The bass is what's really setting the tone, and it's not even a riff, it's just kind of a rhythmic driving forward, but very front-facing bass part. So awesome to listen to.
Yeah, it's very melodic because Geddy does do a lot of melodic bass lines, but this one in particular, it is a lead instrument at this point.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's leading versus like lead guitar, here's the riff, whatever. It's the bass instead, which does not happen in every single track. Like not in a lot of tracks, really.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that like Geddy starts the show in this one. And it's almost like, oh, sorry.
Oh, I think it's interesting that both of these songs actually ended up being features of Alex being the glue that holds it together as far as creating sonic space and just kind of being a noise element that fills
like
the gaps.
There's not a nameable riff or like guitar part that's going to get stuck in your head, like lead guitar part that's going to get stuck in your head. It's just very like part of the layers, part of the texture. I think that's a really cool part of this track.
Yeah. Obviously for Digital Man until he gets to the ripping solo.
Well, besides the solo, because the solos they're always going to be like the solo. But aside from the solos, just usually you have like, Alex's Alexing. But then it's like, oh, this is really like the guitar is just kind of like, I'm over here, but here's this epic bass part.
Yeah. And I love that this song really shows off how talented they are at composition, just layering all of their parts, because you don't, until you really stop and focus on it, you don't realize that the majority of that song has no synth whatsoever. Like there are parts where it comes, there's some pedals that happen, and then there's like some cool effects that happen, but the majority of that song is just drums, bass, and guitar.
I honestly have always thought of this song as like the bassy song. Like it's not just bass, but it's very bass heavy in a great way, in a very interesting and awesome ear experience way. And not a like just 5-4-1 bass kind of progression. It's sort of talking about progression of music. It's very hard. Have you ever tried to play it?
Yes. It is very hard. It's crazy how challenging it is, not because the notes are so hard, but because the stamina needed is just incredible.
Gosh, yeah, that is something to consider. And we think about this all the time with Neil, where the stamina required to play the drums, when they're touring, especially like every single night, all these crazy songs we saw with Annika, like the stamina that is required
Mhm.
It is so true for every instrument, though, because yes, drums is very, very physical because you're moving your entire body is involved in the drums. Your entire body is involved in every instrument, but drums is especially. But then you have to think about like the fine motor endurance that it requires to play any instrument, and especially how fast that bass part is, and how intricate, and how what word am I looking for? I don't know, just a lot of high skill is required, and your hands get tired.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that makes it even more difficult to play the way he's playing is
Yeah, and it sounds good.
that it's moving fast, it's very articulated,
Yeah,
but then he also hits the strings really hard.
yeah, like
And
that's
so
what I'm saying.
it's like, because a lot of times bassists will, you just crank the gain, make sure that it's very sensitive, and then you can just save your muscles and you can be
just do it. He's like going for it.
quicker. But yeah, he gets the speed, but also just the really hard ripping on the
Like
bass.
that is a lot of years of building the muscle strength and agility and stamina.
Yeah.
Because I guess a little bit of a segue. Obviously, I'm a violinist, so I have my own staminas that I have to develop for a lot of different kinds of muscles. But in college, I had two semesters. I played stand-up bass for the band ensemble. Obviously, I'm not a band kid. I'm an orchestra kid because I play violin. But the last 2 semesters of my college experience, I played stand-up bass. I loved it, by the way. So fun to be a bass player. But oh my gosh, already having been a string player, the stamina for bass, and this is stand-up bass, not electric bass, but still bass, is so different. I got blisters I didn't know I could get. My hands were way more tired. The plucking was so exhausting. And I'm like, gosh, this stamina is so different than it is for my violin. Obviously, the strings are thicker and physics and stuff. But the fact that Geddy can do that. Oh, and also let's sing at the same time, Adam.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're just babbling on about his bass playing. We haven't even gotten into more of the song, but it's just the star of the show in this track.
Yeah. So I have a section where he has this incredible bass run, and so I have the stems of the instruments split out, and I have the section come on where everything's all together as recorded and as released, and then I bring down the volume of the other instruments so you can hear the bass. But what you can also notice is how the drums and the guitar and the bass all support each other. And then I would encourage you to listen to the song again, and especially during the solo, during Alex's solo, listen to how the drums and the bass are creating the layer underneath the guitar, because the guitar for the majority of the song has been creating this texture. There's a lot of cool settings that Alex has on his guitar that fills the space, whether it's a little bit of chorus, a little bit of delay, a little bit of stuff to just fatten that sound, so it kind of fills what a synth would be doing.
Yeah. There's no synth in this.
But he's just hitting. He's got chord hits, and he just kind of lets stuff ring, and then it creates this bed that is just a presence almost. And then when he solos, he doesn't have an overdubbed solo over the same rhythm guitar that he's been doing or anything. He cuts out to just doing his solo, and so that means that the bass and the drums have to fill the space that is left over from him stopping doing that job. And so when you listen to it, you'll notice the drums get a little bit busier as the guitar starts building up to a crescendo in his solo, because it starts off, just like all good music, all good solos, it starts off kind of at a bass line that just if it fits with the same kind of jam, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and as the arc of the solo gets to its climax, the bass and the drums get busier and busier to fill in that tension. And so that's something to really listen to. And it's easier to hear if you aren't used to listening to music in this way. It's easier to hear in this song because there are just those three instruments going on, and it's easy to separate out in your mind what's happening.
Yeah, let's do it.
But so what I'm going to play is not the solo here, but it's a part where it's one of my favorite of Geddy's bass lines, bass fills, or not fills, but moments in all of the catalog, but especially in the song.
I love that little grace note moment.
Yeah,
Here, I guess it's more of like a bend than a grace note.
yeah, it's like there's a little bit of a slide into it that then bends.
Yeah.
And so it's
it's kind of a grace note-ish type. I mean, if you had to like really label it, it would probably maybe it could be a grace note-ish, but like it was more like a bend. Or like
I mean, it's like a grace note bend
yeah,
because like
it's like a combo.
like right before the beat, and it's
It's very satisfying. It made my ears happy.
yeah, and I just love that that style coming through, because that's a big thing, especially with bass. Like you have to do that with any instrument you play. You can play the notes, and then you can play the song, and there is a difference. And so, anyone could learn that bass line and play the notes, but giving it the character that he gives it is just that next step. And you can't just do that first time around. You have to, like, unless you've played bass for years and years and you just have that in you and you can just pick it up and play it first time like that. But it takes a lot of work on your instrument to get to that point where you can emote through it like that.
Yeah, it was very musical. It was not what we sometimes use the word metronomic. So get a run like that. That's almost like you could treat it as an etude, and it can be very boring. You just play the notes and just play them and they exist. And instead, Geddy is a very musical bass player, and he made it sound not metronomic. I wasn't sure what I was going for there, but it just sounds enjoyable to listen to versus like he's playing notes right now.
Yeah. I mean, this song is a great song if you're wanting to learn how to approach a fast bass line.
Yeah.
Because
and it's not sloppy at all either, obviously.
Yeah. Like it's just very technical.
Not because
of the notes, but because of the technique required to get that kind of a performance.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're so good at, is that they play super intricately, cleanly, and really no distractions in the music, just totally musically.
Yeah. And that's what makes it a joy to listen to, because I mean, there are plenty of songs, I can't think of one off the top of my head to make you go listen to see what I'm talking about. But, I'm sure we've all had that moment where we're listening to a song and we get distracted by something other than the song itself, like just in the production of it, or in, the player they were doing their thing and the part itself is just maybe not as compelling, or it's just like something that kind of pulls you out of just enjoying it.
Yes, that is something that was brought up all the time in my private lessons in college, was how can you limit as many distractions as possible? It's not like, ooh, how good can you play, or like how many times can you, do it perfectly. It's just no. How can you remove as many distractions from what the music needs to be as possible? And that is, I mean, they're professional musicians, so obviously, like, they don't have any distractions. But yeah, they just do that so well. And like, yeah, this song's like a masterclass in that.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, when you're dealing with high level musicianship, it can also, people can think like, oh, well, I can do it. I can replicate the notes that they're doing. So it wasn't really that hard. Like, there are so much harder things to play out there, so much. And so then they start thinking that harder means better. And so there are better bassists than Geddy Lee because, they write harder stuff, or like they're better drummers than Neil Peart because they write harder stuff. Because so many people can play them, and so that becomes a measure of talent, or a measure of how good someone is how many people can replicate it, when that's not the point. It's not a competition. And even if it was, the point isn't replication. If you were in that same situation, not having heard that line, would you come up with something that could fit the song and serve the song as well?
Well, that's something really, it's a completely separate musicianship conversation of, like you were saying, like difficulty level does not equate quality. Like you can have the easiest thing on paper in the world, it can be the hardest thing in the world to play because of the way you need to do it, or how you need to mesh with the other musicians, or how you need to phrase it. Some of the hardest things I've ever played have been what looks extremely easy on paper. And sometimes it's a stamina thing. Sometimes easy stuff is harder stamina wise. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of really cool conversations that can be sparked by this song. Is there anything else that you want to bring up about Digital Man?
I think we'll hold off on the lyrics until we've kind of done this to Vapor Trail. I think it just makes sense to start off music heavy first and then go into the lyrics of both.
Yeah, sounds good.
So Vapor Trail, I'll go ahead and just start off.
Dive in.
Yeah.
No initial thoughts, just diving in.
Yep.
Okay.
So here's Vapor Trail. Got the nice fade in. That bass tone.
Such a cool guitar texture.
Yeah.
Guitar riff, almost. That one's more of a riff. But I don't know, it's very light sounding.
This guitar part is perfect text painting.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it starts off as a riff-ish.
Yeah.
But then as the song progresses, the specificity of the guitar fades away into this mush in the best possible sense of that word. Like, not a derogatory term at all, but just it becomes like, much like in Digital Man, like I brought up, it becomes the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah.
And it just, you don't hear specific things in the guitar except for things popping out here and there. And then the whole song is about the fact that things don't last forever. That's here one moment, gone the next, and that everything's just can be wiped out and gone. And so, and if you listen, I didn't split this out for this, but go and listen and really listen hard towards the back half of the song. Especially, there are moments that you can really hear the effects that Alex has on the guitar, more than just going through pedals or any of that stuff, but studio effects that are happening where he's reversing stuff.
So how do they do the little like weird, like the thing and the very, very, very beginning and the fade in before the guitar starts. That cool sound effect. How do they do that?
If I had to guess, I would say that's a reverse reverb.
That's what I thought. It sounds like it's going backwards. It's a cool effect.
Yeah, so what you can do is, I mean, you just straight up, you play it, you have a really long reverb, and then you flip that reverb backwards,
Super
and then
cool.
line it up so that the reverb tail fades in
So how did they do that?
that you reversed, and then it goes to the actual hit of the guitar that's been recorded. And so then it makes it seem like you're listening to the guitar and back being played backwards.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your explanation, but how do they do that live?
They don't.
They don't do that. I figured they don't.
You can't do that live.
I was gonna say they probably don't. But.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so it's very much an album effect. I mean, I'm sure there are ways to approximate it, but you're not going to get it to sound exactly.
Well, yeah, it's totally post-production stuff. But yeah, that's such a cool
throughout
intro.
the back half, especially, there's all the layers of guitar that he's doing. There are ones that are very much reversed. And so the idea that kind of time is going forward and backwards as far as what we're thinking about.
Oh, yeah. I know that you brought out some really cool moments that you separated out. Did you want to go ahead and get into that?
Yeah, because I think that will talk about this song pretty well. So I did a similar thing like I did with Digital Man, but this one more in depth. This is about, I want to say 2 minutes, but it takes, I believe the second verse and the second chorus. So you'll hear the verse, but just the bass to start out with, because it's interesting to compare Geddy's bass tone in this. Hear the different type of playing that he's doing. He's doing more double stops.
A lot of double
and
stops.
He's taking the role of rhythm guitar as well with these powerful hits, and got some really cool stuff there. And so you'll hear the bass, and then you'll hear the drums come in, and then you'll hear the vocals come in, and then you'll hear the guitar come in, which then you'll notice how, like, it sounds good with the bass, it sounds good with the drums, and it sounds good with the vocals, but then, and it could very well just have stayed like that and it'd be a pretty cool song. But once the guitars come in, it just clicks and everything meshes, and the guitar is what brings all of that together.
Ooh, let's get into this.
But then
I'm excited.
So after the verse plays through straight like that with parts clicking on every once in a while, then it goes into the chorus, and as soon as it hits the chorus, it'll just go to vocals, because there's some cool harmonies there that you hear, that Geddy becomes a texture as well, and you get this ethereal nature, kind of like passing, yet again, text painting. Like you've got visions just like going in and out, and the harmonies are just really cool. And so then it'll go Geddy singing, and then it'll go into the guitar, I believe, and then the bass, and then the drums. Okay. And so you'll be able to hear all those parts layered together. And thing to notice for people who are interested in the way something is mixed, when you're mixing a song, live sound, you do this to an extent, but especially when you're mixing for an album, you'll notice the vocals are going to be the most noticeable. You'll notice it feels like it's just very tinny almost, that there's no low end whatsoever. And you're like, this doesn't sound very good by itself. And then as the other parts click on, all of a sudden the vocals magically sound deep and just like full. Yeah. And it's because they've carved out, using EQ, they've carved out those lower frequencies that overlap with the other instruments, and then boosted the higher elements of the vocals so that those stick out more. And then the bass and the drums have the lower end sorted out, so that then all of it comes together, and then the reverb that they have on it blends all those sounds and ties it all together, so that the holes that are deliberately put in there for those different parts are filled by all the different parts. And so you'll notice that it's kind of like a puzzle clicking together. And then once all parts are in, you're like, it makes sense. And so I think also what this will do is for people who maybe Vapor Trails as an album hasn't clicked yet, this can kind of help you see the vision of what they were going for, that it is deliberately dense in the orchestration for a lot of these songs. And a lot of people hear it and it's like, it's just a wall of sound. I don't want to have anything to do with it. It's too loud. But I hope with this you can hear, and this is the original mix. You've heard my rant on that before, but this is the original mix. And hopefully you can hear the artistry in the mixing and get a new appreciation for these songs. So without further ado, here's the second verse and chorus with all the layers going on.
Silence all the songbirds, still by the killing frost. Forests burn to ashes, everything is lost. Horizon to horizon, every written of the wind. 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 Washed away like footprints in the rain. 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 Swept away like voices in a hurricane. In a vapor train.
That was so cool. Well done. He put that all together. That was all Adam.
Thanks. Yeah. So if you notice there, I repeated the same phrase in the chorus so you could hear all the layers coming together.
Yeah, it is absolutely fascinating how you're like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, well, even just the drums, the bass, and the singing, I was like, and then the guitar came in and it was the glue. And I was like, whoa. It was like, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it'd be really cool to see all of the actual tracks from that session, because I mean, I don't know how many layers of guitar are in that. Just how many things that he's doing to just create that atmosphere.
It is so cool. And I loved, this is not really to do with the layering, I suppose, but I guess I noticed it when we were doing this layering activity, is the very end of that bit that you pulled was the drum part is so cool. What a cool, again, texture that Neil's creating there, and like, and then I don't know enough about, I need to learn more about drum set to know what drums are being used there. I guess, I don't know, but I
Just different toms.
Yeah, like the toms that he was using are such a cool, I don't even know what word I want to use. I guess the tone of those matched the section so well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Like, that's a perfect example of what we mean and what others mean when we say that Neil composed for the drums.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't just play the drums, he purposely composed for the songs.
Yeah, I really, in that moment, I was just like, man, Neil is so cool. Like, I just, gosh, like, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And so I think it's also cool to compare these different eras of Rush where
That's another thing, completely different eras.
like it's totally understandable if you have one preference
Oh, yeah.
of eras. And I feel like a lot more people prefer the Signals eras to the Vapor Trails era.
Yeah,
Um,
which is fair.
Full disclosure, Vapor Trails is one of my all-time favorite albums. In case you haven't put that together, but I can understand why people don't enjoy it. It
Yeah.
is an acquired taste. It isn't what people think of when they think of Rush.
Which they should, because it's also Rush, and see, that's the thing is I love both albums for different reasons in different moods that I get in. Sometimes I'm just really in the mood for Signals and that kind of a sound, and I'll listen to that, and I'll go listen to Hemispheres and just be in that Rush mode. And sometimes I'm really just in the mood for like what I consider, I mean, I guess technically it is newer Rush, the new Rush song, and they're both good to me. Neither one of them is like, well, one's kind of better. No, they're just different. And I love being able to compare different songs from different eras and how they both have, I don't know, their quirks, their vibes, I suppose. And I also just appreciate seeing where they were as musicians in both and how neither one of them is less complicated than the other. They're still just as complicated as it was a Digital Man. It wasn't like all of a sudden they're way better musicians in Trails and now they're playing even more complicated things. It's just like, no, like honestly, Digital Man is more complicated sounding and technically difficult, in my opinion, than Vapor Trail. That doesn't mean that it's better or worse.
Well, I mean,
it's just both. Not saying Vapor Trail is not complicated. Or
well,
anything,
I would agree with you that to a certain extent it isn't as complicated. They have more room to be less precise in that album
that's
because
true.
of, I mean, when you think of the circumstances that they were recording under, I mean, Neil, he had to get his chops back. He had not been playing for a long time. They as a band had to get back together to figure out what are we doing. And so I feel like a lot of the writing in this album reflects that because it's not as exposed a lot of times. They kind of gave themselves breathing room by all the overdubs and having so many different layers which fit the songs. And I think I definitely don't think it was a cop out or trying to be like hide their mistakes or anything. There really aren't a ton of mistakes, but as you pointed out, it is almost freeing. Like they don't have to be as on top of everything and precise because with Digital Man, it's just so pared away and exposed. Every part is under a microscope.
Like, again, the beginning of Digital Man is just Geddy putting it out there, and if he messes up, then it doesn't sound like.
Well, I mean, Neil's starting drum fill as well. It has to be just like right on there.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, all of it really is so exposed, and so okay. I need to know. I really want to know what because again, I came into this episode completely open. So what was your initial choice, or what are you thinking right now, or whatever, with these two songs?
So I do have a choice, but I do want to give more context for the process of getting there.
That's fine. I just want to know. Just spill the beans.
I just didn't know if you wanted to know that stuff first or the.
I want to know your choice first.
Okay, and then
give me context, because you're going to give me context anyway. Just say it, because I want to know. Because you did not tell me beforehand.
Okay, so right now I am leaning towards Digital Man.
Interesting. Okay, now context.
Okay, so so I kind of went into the lyrics of Digital Man before. I want to go into the lyrics of Vapor Trails or Vapor Trail.
I'm gonna
Committed
tell
cardinal sin.
Ryan. I'm gonna tell
Um,
Ryan.
So the lyrics of Vapor Trail. So the chorus, I feel like, does a good job of kind of explaining what this song is all about. Horizon to horizon, memory written on the wind, fading away like an hourglass, grain by grain, swept away like voices in a hurricane in a vapor trail. And just these phrases: atmospheric phases make the transitory last, vaporize the memories that freeze the fading past. Just these ideas of reality getting swept away by time, but then also not necessarily by time. That yes, time does its job in moving things along, shuffling things along, and then your memories go. And I mean, as he put it later in the garden, that we go from a moment into memory. There's the briefest tiny pause that the future becomes the past, and that just our experience becomes that gateway from future to past. And so everything is just so fleeting. And I think that Vapor Trail is kind of like not necessarily the more pessimistic, but coming from a darker place,
Yeah.
but echoing the same sentiments as Time Stands Still.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Time Stands Still is that yearning for being able to take everything in and be able to experience life to its fullest, recognizing that you only have a brief moment that you can do that. And so not wanting to waste what you've been given, and
Yeah.
kind of mourning the fact that you're going to have to let it go and that time will just move on, but that you wish you could just make it stop for a moment. Vapor Trail comes at it as time is going to take things away from you. Life is going to take things away from you. How do you sit in the tragedy of time taking everything from you, of life taking everything from you, and notice what's happening? How do we as humans deal with tragedy, and how do we deal with these fleeting moments that we call life and time? How do we deal with the fact that we are finite beings in an infinite existence?
This is a little bit deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all of that, the deepness of Vapor Trail and examining life as Neil so often did. Why is your choice Digital Man?
So I think because both lyrics, they have depth to them. I mean, pretty much all Rush songs have a depth to it that isn't apparent at first listen.
Including I Think I'm Going Bald.
I mean, technically, you can go into why it was written and all that, but yeah, that's
I
why
love
I
that song, by
qualified it
the
with
way.
most.
I mean, I do like that song. But anyway.
Oh yeah, we don't hate on that.
No. Anyway.
But to the lyrics of Digital Man, he'd love to spend the night in Zion. He's been a long while in Babylon. He'd like a lover's wings to fly on to a tropic isle of Avalon. So mixing a lot of these symbolic, mythical places, because Avalon definitely is not tropic. Avalon is the mythical land of King Arthur. Definitely not tropic, but and so it's kind of like a nod to the fact that we have our fantasies. We want to be in a fantasy land. We want to leave Babylon to get into Zion. We want to, I mean, I think of lay in Snakes and Arrows and Armor and Sword. No one gets to their heaven without a fight. just that idea of that we all have this place we want to be. Are we willing to fight? And I feel like Digital Man is examining like, we want to be this, we haven't necessarily committed to getting there.
Yeah.
We feel stuck in where we are. And he plays fast forward for as long as he can, but he won't need a bed. He's a digital man. And just like all of the world of the song is very cool, and you can just dig deep into the layers of it.
I was just looking at the opening line.
Oh yeah.
His world is under observation. We monitor his station under faces and the places where he traces points of view.
It's a very relevant
Really
line
cool.
for today as well.
Why is that?
Oh, just, I mean, everything that we do is being seen by someone.
They're listening at him.
But especially that line, we monitor his station under faces and the places where he traces points of view. So not just what he's doing, but how he's thinking. That just being monitored, and the idea that not only are you trapped by your own mental limitations, but also by the idea that you are being watched, that you're being judged by what you're choosing to become.
It's a little bit progressive for 1982. Don't you think? Like, not progressive, but like, I don't know, like technology forward for 1982.
I mean, you think about even just at that time, it's the amount of surveillance that was still going on.
Yeah, it's just so cool how it translates even more so now with the internet
yeah.
era. That's
It's
crazy.
just become even more and more. He's got a force field and a flexible plan. He's got a date with fate in a black sedan.
So why is your choice Digital Man?
So for me, I was comparing lyrics to lyrics to see if that was going to push one or the other over. Because when I came into it, I was like you. I don't know how I'm going to pick, because both of these are very on equal footing to me.
Totally different. Like I told you this earlier this week. I listened to them all week and I was like, I got nothing. I just got nothing. I don't know.
And so what pushed it more over to Digital Man for me was the musical element of it, because I love both of these musically. They both just scratch different itches in my brain, and they both are so interesting to listen to for different reasons. But what Digital Man has that Vapor Trail doesn't is that precision that we were talking about. Whereas Vapor Trail, obviously, still very talented musicians, very technical, playing with different things and cool layering and all that stuff. But the bare bones power trio that's on display in Digital Man,
Yeah.
and just how crisp everything is and how clean everything has to be, and how you see the synergy of those three guys just on full display there, with no other production things masking it. Because not that Vapor Trail, like we said, it's not that
Yeah.
they were cheating.
No.
They were going for a different effect, just completely different stage of their composing. But Digital Man shows you what is best about this band. It shows you that they are extremely well-rounded players, that they don't have to rely on anything but just their talent with their instrument.
I think, I thought about this more, and I do love Vapor Trail quite a bit. I do enjoy that track. I do enjoy the chorus a lot. But I think that in the end, it was always going to be Digital Man purely for that bass part. The entire bass part. All of the bass. Just that intro, all of it. The fills, it's incredible. And I don't know. I thought I had more to say about it. I was like, zoning out for a moment. Anyway, I think like it's not to say that his bass isn't good in Vapor Trail. Like we were saying that before. It's not like his one is more better, like technically or whatever. It's just that bass part in Digital Man. It's almost like it adds to the text painting of it being digital. I have no idea if that makes sense at all.
I mean, it does have kind of a sense like when you imagine like the stereotypical digital sounds, like
Yeah,
computer
that's what
sounds.
I mean. That's what I mean.
And then I do think it's a cool choice to go when he'll go from the bass playing, from his analog playing to then digital playing, because he's with the
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a synth at that point.
Yeah.
He drops out playing the bass guitar and goes to bass synth.
Yeah. It's such a cool track.
Yeah. And then obviously, like, we hardly touched on Neil's drumming in that track,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that is just, I mean, I feel like that is just like quintessential Neil on the drums.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just such a cool part that supports everything about the song. And that's the thing too, is every part, because it's just those three instruments going and no other studio tricks, you see how the composition of their parts had to go in supporting each other.
That will never not blow my mind that it's three guys
Yeah.
making that sound. It's just crazy. And I've said that a million times probably on this podcast. I'm like, it's three of them. Three.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, does that mean we've come to a decision here?
I think so.
Don't know why I said it like that, but okay. Digital Man. I forgot to bring this up. I usually say this at the beginning of every episode, but I forgot this time. All right, we always do a community poll every Tuesday in the Instagram stories. I think it posts over on Facebook as well. It's because everything is pushed over to Facebook. But anyway, Instagram stories every Tuesday. Go vote. The community voted for Digital Man. They did. So, guess that's our choice today.
Yeah. For once, we are in agreement with the people who vote on these things.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to our biggest fan on YouTube. Comments on just about every.
We appreciate you. You're the only one watching.
But just, he said multiple times that we've picked the opposite of what he
We
does,
do.
and it is just funny to see.
If it gets you to listen to the other song more, that's like it. Our goal is to go listen to Rush. Go listen to Rush. Don't judge it because like I did for too many years and then I missed out. Go listen to Rush. Go listen to Digital Man. Go listen to Vapor Trail. Listen to both of them.
Yeah, and then, just keep on listening, and then next week we've got a pretty fun pairing. I'm pretty sure it's another song from Vapor Trails.
Oh my gosh, Adam. So many Vapor Trails. Just kidding.
I love the album. But yeah, we've got Grand Designs versus Ceiling Unlimited.